It's Madden NFL 22, and we'll see who rules the skies in today's battle. It's the Jets and the Dirty Birds, and it comes your way next.
First opened in 2017, there's a look at the beautiful state-of-the-art Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta, GA. A moment ago, here was the scene. The Falcons coming out from their tunnel to the roar of all the folks here in Atlanta. We're ready for football as these Falcons get set to match up with the New York Jets. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And CD, you look at the Jets coming into play. It's a relatively balanced offense. The next-gen stats kind of bear that out. What do you think they'll be looking to do in this one?
I think it'll be exactly what you just talked about. They'll want to be balanced on offense, which means to them, they'll want everyone involved. See if they can get some one-on-ones in the passing game. Maybe identify some situations where they can swing the ball to the backs in space. Even find some spots where they just want to play some old-fashioned power football. As one of the most successful coaches in the league told us once, the definition of balanced offense, that means you can do what you want when you want to, not necessarily just running it 50% of the time and throwing it the same percentage.
Just about time to rock as Toe gets ready to meet leather. And we are underway from Atlanta. On the return, here's the dangerous Cordero Patterson. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Atlanta takes the field. Their offensive leader, of course, Matt Ryan, the former Boston College Eagle.
And when you start with listing a guy's accomplishments like Matt Ryan's, all these years in the league, near the top of the league in completions and percentage, touchdowns each and every year, has won an MVP, taken his team to the Super Bowl. You're talking about a guy who might be finished, but he still has gas left in the tank. Big right arm, great leader, the face of his franchise.
The former Gamecock here. This is Mike Davis. Gets by him, and now a little daylight. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Well, there you go. This offense off to a strong start this afternoon.
Yeah, with a big run and a first down. That's putting what you practice into play. That's excellent execution to get things started.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Here's Ryan to throw. Throw right side, caught by Ridley. And he's out of bounds just before the midfield stripe at the 49. A gain of 6 there on first.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
I got you. 20, 11.
Play action for Davis. Now Ryan. That is taken in by Hurst. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. So in Jet territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 26-yard line. Now it's Ryan. And that is caught. It's Ridley. And he is out of bounds right around the 10-yard line.
Boy, how about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taking them no time at all to get down here, and now they're set up with a 1st and goal.
A terrific opening drive has them knocking on the door. 1st and goal.
Let's go. Let's bring it. Let's bring it. 52's the mic right here over there.
They'll try and run for it with Davis. And they get him down at the 1. He had the broken tackle, but ultimately could not get into the end zone. It'll be a pickup of 8 and a good first step there with 2nd and goal coming up. Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. Expect this from the visiting team when playing indoors, but not the home team.
They're supposed to get all the advantages, right? The home crowd's supposed to help them. They forgot where they were, perhaps.
Things made a little more difficult after the false start as they try again on 2nd and goal. Ryan. They'll set up the screen with Davis. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. Driven it down the field nicely here on the opening drive, and now it's put up or shut up.
No doubt about it, because to make that type of a drive and ultimately kick a field goal would feel very disappointing. But I'm just wondering, is the head coach thinking, is this 4-down territory? Might he go for it?
From the 5-yard line, will this opening drive yield 6? This is 3rd and goal. To throw is Ryan. This to Pitts, and he's got him. Touchdown, Atlanta. A 5-yard touchdown catch. And the Falcons take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive.
I do believe we came here to see a game, didn't we? And it looks like he's running what we call routes versus air. You just go out there with your offensive unit and throw the football with no defense. He's 5 for 5 on the opening drive.
He was on his game there for drive number 1, but my only thing is now he can't go any higher than that. He was so perfect. Can he do it again later?
Yeah, all he cares about right now is making it 10 for 10, 15 for 15.
Keeping that going.
And he feels like he can get it done.
Koo able to connect on the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. On the return, here's a speedy Jamison Crowder. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20. So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They're led by the number 2 overall pick in April's draft from BYU, the rookie Zach Wilson.
And what was really attractive about Zach Wilson coming out of college, coming out of BYU, his ability to create and make plays when many people thought they didn't exist. But what's been even better is watch him improve in the pocket, able to hit the back foot, make the right read, and the right throws.
So here's a 1st and 10 now down inside the 20. He'll be dropped at the 25 after a gain of 6.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
From the 25 on 2nd down, Wilson, and that is incomplete here.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Wilson. And that's going to be incomplete. The coverage too good there. The contact popped the ball free, and it's 4th down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
On 4th down, punt coming from Braden Mann. Avery Williams deep for Atlanta. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. So for the 2nd time in this one, we get set to see the Falcons offense. They'll be looking to duplicate the efforts of drive number 1 that resulted in 7 points in the 7-zip lead.
Well, you know how much I enjoy horse racing, right? Looks like they caught a flyer out of the gate, as they would say when you're running the big-time races. Means they get out to a fast start. They're setting the pace, making the other team chase now.
They'll come out with a 3 tight end look on the first play of the drive. They begin with a run by Davis. This will go for 5 up to the 33.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Second and 5 now. Ryan. This is to Pitts on the quick slant.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass in the first drive and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
A really nice throw there to pick up the first down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations. Ball hardly hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, he might be locked in for this one. Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone, and there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Here's Ryan. He completes this to Russell Gage. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
Well, it's almost as if they didn't leave the field after their first drive. They picked right up where they left off. Another good throw there. And this offense, humming here in the early going.
So in jet territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. They go play action with Ryan. He completes it to Ridley. And he's going to get this one down to the edge of the red zone. Well, that didn't take very long. You mentioned you have to keep him under wraps. Avoid the big play is what you said, and here he makes one in the first quarter.
Yeah, you can't let this become a habit. Otherwise, you know what'll happen? They'll flat out take over this game.
From the red zone now, here's Ryan on first down. Incomplete. Just his 2nd incompletion so far. He's 8 for 10. I think he'll take 80%.
There's no doubt that he will, but if you're the defensive play caller, you better circle what you just dialed up on your play sheet and come back to it because you just caused an incompletion. You need a few more of those.
Here's 2nd and 10. Running the jet sweep with Ridley. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. Back now in Atlanta, second quarter action. The Falcons with the football as they've got it with a third down coming up. Now Ryan. And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. John Franklin Myers in there to get him for a loss of 9 yards, and that also leads to fourth down. So this defense, they gave up some yards on this drive, but bottom line, they came up with a sack when it mattered.
And we know that every down counts, but let's be honest about it. People focus on third down as a real key down in any drive, any situation. And they took full advantage of third down there and made a play.
And we'll see Younghoe Koo now for the Falcons. And this will be a 45-yard attempt. And his kick is absolutely perfect. And the lead moves to 10-zip. So as it turns out, that sack doesn't wind up costing them, Charles. They at least get points, get 3 of them.
Yeah, that's where your kicker can really come to your rescue because, you know, after the sack, there was a little consternation there. Are we out of field goal range? Are we going to be able to get 3? In this case, he stepped right up and gave them exactly what they needed.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This taken in at the goal line. And a penalty marker's down on the field. And they might be backing up a bit here to start the drive. Well, that holding call set him up with not great field position.
Not at all when you tack on the penalty. With that field position after the return wasn't terrific. It's not a great starting field position as well.
They'll throw on first down with Wilson. And that is incomplete.
No sense risking anything there on first down. Even though he's still in the pocket, he had a receiver out to his side, so just put that in a spot where the only people who could make a play on it are the trainers and the coaches. Well done.
2nd and 10. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. He's going to look deep for more. And a high throw there as this is knocked away, down to the ground and incomplete.
And he's missed now in his first 4 passing attempts. The rhythm is just not there to begin this ball game.
The threat of a second straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. Here's Wilson. Over the middle, he gets it to Berrios. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. They do get 9, but it leads to 4th down.
I think that call was made not so much to try and get the first down, although they would have taken it if they could have gotten it, but to give their punter a little bit of space and try and help out their defense.
Yeah, got the safe completion on 3rd. Here's Braden Mann now, standing right on his own 5-yard line. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Matt Ryan and the offense heading back onto the field. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes, but right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. Ryan and the Falcons now come up 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Throwing to start the drive. Ryan. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing, but as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Now Ryan on first down. He's going to have the hook up to Gage. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. From the gun, it's Ryan. That's caught over the middle by Hurst. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done.
I know that no game in the NFL is ever easy, but they're making it look that way. Everything is being done with such precision. Just on this drive alone, 3 plays, 3 first downs. If you're on defense, you're scrambling, looking at each other, trying to figure out how are we going to slow these guys down.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. And he will find Ridley on the left side. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. That catch good for only a couple. Eight yards to go on second down.
Let's make these babies cry all the way back home, yo.
Throwing again, Ryan. And this is going to be caught. No, they say it's incomplete. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call. So apparently some grabbing there in the middle of the O-line.
I've often wondered why that doesn't happen more often for guys that play center. Having to snap the ball and then trying to get your hands into the proper position, that's difficult to do. He got caught that time.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Here's Ryan. He's got his big tight end. That's Hurst. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2.
You have to ask the question, where was the help? Because it's a little surprising to me that he'd find that much room to run this close to the end zone. He doesn't quite get there, but he sets his guys up with a 1st and goal.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Davis. And he is not going to go anywhere. They're going to get to him behind the line, and that is going to get us to the 2-minute warning. They'll try to punch it in with Davis. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. The 2nd down play results in a loss of 2 yards.
We all know how much running backs love getting the ball down near the goal line. They think they're going to find a way into the end zone. He hasn't had that kind of luck so far. Ends up not getting in on the last 2 carries. You know he's going to be upset about a missed opportunity.
And now can they reverse the trend on 3rd and goal with the last 2 plays having gone backwards? From the shotgun, Ryan. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And it's scooped up by the Jets. Accelerating, and off he goes. The 40. The 20. And he takes it to the house. It's a fumble recovery for a Jet touchdown. How about that for a momentum swing? You had it goal to go. Not only do you cough it up, but they pick it up and return it all the way for a touchdown.
And now you have to give oxygen to the entire team because what a letdown that was. Terrific drive. Looked like you're going to get points. Instead, the other team registers them on the scoreboard.
Matt Amendola now for the extra point. And they're back within a field goal. It's 10-7 now. The scoop and score, always an exciting play in football, and we witnessed it there. Grabbing it off the ground and then rumbling it into the end zone for 6. So here's the kickoff now as they'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. Taken at the goal line. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. Atlanta regains possession of the football. And they've got to be still reeling from the events of a moment ago. What a turn on that last play.
You're knocking on the door. You're about to take it in. You think you're going to get some points on the board. Instead, you cough it up and watch them take it the rest of the way to the opposite end zone. That's a 2-score swing that you just gave up.
So here's a 1st and 10 now down inside the 20. Now it's Ryan. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's 2nd down.
And I could see the officials kind of looking at each other down there, silently wondering, does this meet the level of grounding? Fortunately, he did have a receiver in the area, but I have seen less obvious throwaways called as penalties.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Here's Ryan to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. On 1st down, Ryan. That's Cordero Patterson hauling it in. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the 1st half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on them a little bit, I think. So they're looking at each other and trying to figure out what defense will work and how can they play better without getting beat deep for big passes.
Again, Ryan. Getting this ball out wide for Davis. The Falcons going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as the clock shows 50 seconds to play here in half number 1. Ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2. Now Ryan. And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. John Franklin Myers picks up his second sack of the afternoon.
Well, nothing takes a start to have a good drive quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
No, now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
So the sack pushes him back, and now 3rd and long for Ryan and the Falcons. Ryan. He's going to air one out. And this is caught. And out of bounds all the way down at the 3. A big connection on that one. 38 yards.
That's a well-thrown ball right there. This is where arm strength pays off because he's got to be able to get the ball both downfield and to the sideline. And that's one of the more difficult throws for a quarterback. And he put it right where it needed to be.
Ryan. And he's going to be dropped back at the 15-yard line. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. So 3 seconds here remain in the half. On is the field goal unit to see about getting 3 points. And his kick is good. And that will do it for this first half. So we are at halftime here in Atlanta with the Falcons out in front. As we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to an abbreviated version of the EA Sports halftime report. First up, though, let's take a look at the next-gen stats from that first half for the Jets. And the rushing numbers should tell the story of why they trail at the half. They're still in single digits in yardage as a team through 2 quarters of play. That's not good. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, you get a look at what they were able to do throwing the football. And whatever they've done, it's worked, as they have the lead through 2 quarters of play.
All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point. The Jets going to get the football first, and they trail as well as we get back underway in this second half. Now it's Crowder. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. And the Jets head out on offense here to start this third quarter. They do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
Three tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. Second half starts with a run by Carter. And he'll get this up to the 30-yard line.
We got this. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go.
That one definitely helps as they try to push the ball down the field here, trailing early in the third quarter.
And even though they're trailing, not abandoning the running game. People may call it an adjustment. I think it's just much more sticking to what works for you and continuing to have faith in it. And the running game is starting to pay off.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On first down, right back to Carter. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
Now, that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater, he just made a great play there.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. On the counter, Carter. And takes this one across the 35 to the 36, a gain of about 4.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
And for the Falcons, 5 men in the secondary, now on 3rd. Here's Wilson. And that almost intercepted. Oh, they would have loved to have their first pick of the game right there, but at least it does get them to 4th down.
We're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. Here's the Jets punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. That'll be a 44-yard boot, just a yard on the return as he's covered up quickly. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. It's player spotlight time, and we focus that spotlight on the quarterback, Matt Ryan. He's playing pretty well. I don't think it's necessarily him changing up something he's doing, but that O-line, they've got to protect him better.
They do. They've got to make sure that they give him more than enough time in order to find targets downfield. And sometimes what happens when these things are going on is that the field general will step up and say, hey, that's on me, guys. I didn't get rid of it fast enough. Anything to try and relax them a little bit and take some pressure off, because they do know that they are trying.
Yeah, well, we've seen the 4 sacks so far in this contest. To the right side and complete to Hurst. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Nice rhythm throw there on 1st down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. Throwing again on 2nd down. Ryan. That is taken in by Hurst. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. A big play that time through the air. 32 yards.
It doesn't look like this defense found the magic elixir at halftime. This offense was rolling in the first half, and that's continued here in the 3rd quarter. Another big play right there.
So the big play moves him all the way across midfield. It's 1st and 10 from the 45. Ryan going to give this to Davis. And he's able to get this one down to about the 40. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
The 1st down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. Out of the gun, it's Ryan. Caught right side, Davis. A loss on that play, and now 3rd down gets tougher. 3rd and 6.
I really like the angles that the tacklers came from on that play. They secured inside, took away the cutback. The sideline's there, so you can only go so far outside, and they were able to close in and tackle him for a loss.
Yeah, they used your boy over there, the 12th man. Sammy Sideline, right?
Sammy Sideline. You know something? He tackles pretty well, too.
He's tougher than an airport steak. On 3rd down, Ryan. And he's got a man, Calvin Ridley. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
They go play action with Ryan. That's the tight end Hurst with it. And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play. And that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
A first down carry for Davis. And they go the wrong way here. Knocked back to the 20. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I think sometimes when you're trying to get after the quarterback, maybe it's better to be lucky than great, because I think on that one, he's just trying to get upfield and rush the passer. Instead, the tackle for the loss landed right in his lap.
A rare misstep on that last play because the drive has been strong, but now it's 2nd and 12. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. Here's Ryan. And that is incomplete.
Tight defense there on 3rd down, but what a product of good coaching and even better execution, because he realized he's in field goal range, no sense forcing anything, and he made sure he didn't.
So now here comes the field goal team for the 3rd time today. From the left hash, it's a 36-yard attempt. And his kick here is good. And now it's a 2-score game at 9, 16-7. So the lead grows here incrementally, but I think the way their defense is playing, you feel okay with just getting 3.
They've definitely been stout so far, but now that could all change, because if one guy gets loose for 70 yards, this is a different game. But as it stands, field goals are good. Just keep adding to that lead.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. New York ready to go again offensively. So far, they've had 3 drives, 3 punts. Not good.
Not good indeed, because you've got to have something to show for being out on the field. Now, sometimes, if you have a game where neither side has scored, 3 punts isn't a bad thing. But when you're trying to set the pace, get up on top in a game, you've got to show better offense and find a way to put some points on the board.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. They'll start on the ground. Carter. And he is going to lose yardage here. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Second and 11 now. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Throw to the right, taken in by Berrios. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
This defense has certainly had an outstanding second half, haven't they? I know they just gave up a first down there, and for the offense, they're hoping that that's something that they can jumpstart with and maybe start to move the ball a little bit better. But it's been tough sledding for them here the entire second half.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. It's brought in by Jamison Crowder. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
On 2nd down, a run with Carter. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here, 3rd and 5.
That's a play to take note of there for the defense. I think in the future, if you're going to try and block him, maybe you get a guard to help double team him and try and steer him out of the play. They should have done it on that snap.
The Jets on 3rd down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This will be 3rd and 5. To throw is Wilson. And he's got the hook up to Moore. And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line. And in a 2-score game, obviously, every play, every 3rd down, like we saw there, magnified, big pickup.
It was a huge pickup. What they really want, though, is to not even get to 3rd down. They've got to maximize time and conserve as much as possible.
So after 2 first downs, they get another here. 1st and 10 at the 45. Here's a give to Carter. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground. But I think the play gets made by the defensive front. Because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. From the shotgun, Wilson. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes. Tyler Davison forced his way through, drops him for a loss of 10 yards. And you hate to say it with a rookie quarterback. He's done some good things, but overall, looked a little bit overwhelmed back there, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But in his defense, he hasn't had a lot of time to throw the football. You like the way I said that? In his defense.
In his defense. I got it.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, he needs better protection, that's for sure. So now Wilson and the Jets with a 3rd and long here following the sack. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield, but they had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. Here we go. It's Wilson on 4th down. On the catch, it's Crowder. And now this is going to depend on the spot. And they say he's just short. The Jets try it, but the 4th down play doesn't work. And it'll be a turnover on downs. So still over 3 minutes remaining in this game, but boy, not getting that one that hurt.
That's a little bit demoralizing, so they have to be careful about that because still have an opportunity if they can get some things done on defense. But now, since they've taken over on downs, a team with the ball, guess what? Going to 4-minute offense, maybe they can put this thing away.
Ryan will bring the Falcons up now 1st and 10 at their own 46. Here's Davis. He'll try and run some clock. And he'll take it across midfield down into Jet territory. 41 yards rushing for him now to this point. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all three still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. And he'll get it down here to the 43.
2nd and 1 and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Two minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. So they come up on 2nd down. If they can get another run like we just saw, would likely put an end to this thing. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. Throwing now is Ryan. And the Jets pressure too much as down he goes. The Jets going to go ahead and use their final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's Thomas Morstead now, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. So here is Wilson and the Jets down by 9. Just over 1:40 to play. It's been a struggle to score all day, and now they need to do it twice here late to have a chance. Here's Wilson. And he hits his running back, Tevin Coleman. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped.
We often talk about understanding the playbook, understanding progressions, and understanding what the defense is doing. We saw all of that on that play. Great recognition and understood where his running back was going to be. Found a way to have him leak out underneath, hit him with the football, and they picked up the first down.
Escaping the pressure right. And this one caught along the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. Now the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up 2nd down.
Well, they've certainly had trouble unlocking this defense through 3.5 quarters, so I don't expect it to get any easier now. You know they're going to be sitting back and waiting on everything, and they force an incompletion there.
Wilson to throw. And on the left sideline, he caught it, but out of bounds, according to the head linesman. Incomplete, so the ball a little late getting there, and it's 3rd down.
We've seen that the deep ball's been a part of their game plan all afternoon, but they've had trouble hooking up on it, unable to successfully find the end zone over the top.
An important play right here, 3rd and 10.
And I would expect pressure here.
Now Wilson. And this pass broken up. And the contact well timed there, and now 4th down.
Well, you have to expect in this situation that the defense is going to be playing the perimeter. They don't want any easy passes out there where someone can grab it and step out of bounds. So that was excellent work there to force the incompletion.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. He's going to let it fly. And this is dropped. Oh, it's incomplete. He had a big gainer in his sights, but he could not reel it in. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Falcons will take control of the football in great field position. So with that, we can just about close the book on this one, Charles.
Yeah, what's the old expression about slim and none? Well, Slim just left town on that
They're
one.
down to none?
Yes, exactly right.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. The Falcons in victory formation as they take a knee. Ryan heads down to a knee, and that should wrap this one up. So time runs out. It's a victory for the Atlanta Falcons. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.